Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Green version. Last time we did a bunch of stuff elsewhere and pretty much got all the way up to Cinnabar Island and the, what's it called? The Pokémon Mansion, that's what it's called. Off screen I did a bunch of training, got Stinger, or actually no, not Stinger, Bruce Lee, Inferno, Shocker, and Razor Tooth leveled up closer to Stinger and Forest, whom are actually going to be kind of just sitting this episode out, actually. Shocker, off-screen, he learned a couple new moves. He learned, actually one new move, he learned Thunder Punch, which is a very powerful punching move. Razor Tooth learned, I think, the most new moves. Learning Bite, Dragon Rage, and Hyper Beam, which now completes his moveset. Dragon Rage and Hyper Beam you can buy as TMs, I believe, at the Celadon Game Corner, so I had to basically win at the slot machines a ton to get them, and I also was able to win up enough coins to buy a couple new Pokemon from the Game Corner. Those Pokemon being Dratini, which is a dragon Pokemon, is long considered a mythical Pokemon until recently when a small colony was found living underwater. It can be gotten as a prize in the Game Corner or found in the Safari Zone using a Super Rod. I also bought a Porygon, which I had to max out my coins with. Porygon, the virtual Pokemon, a Pokemon that consists entirely of programming code, capable of moving freely in cyberspace. And there was one other Pokemon. Here it is, Scyther, the Mantis Pokemon. With ninja-like agility and speed, it can create the illusion that there is more than one. It can also be found in the Safari Zone, although very rarely, and I'm not surprised that I didn't find one back there in the Safari Zone when I was there originally. But whatever. But also, an interesting thing about Porygon is that it cannot be shown in the Pokemon TV show ever since its original air on the show, which pretty much caused, I think, around 700 kids to get seizures for some bizarre reason. I think mainly because there was a bunch of flashing lights of red and green that went by so quickly that really had a negative effect on those kids over in Japan back then, and I think they even canceled the show for a while because of that. And as such, Porygon can no longer appear on TV, aside from probably in movies and spin-offs. Oh no, my bag of loot! But it's still perfectly fine to be put into games, because there is no chance of such a seizure-inducing flashing in this game, now is there? Switches open and close alternating sets of doors. Okay, and oh yeah, I also found and caught a Weezing and Muck here, off screen. Yeah, this really did do a number on the Pokedex. What the? How did Psychic miss? Okay. And also, let's see, what else is there to talk about? Well, this place has pretty much been burned down in a fire, as far as I know, because, I forget, did I check these journals? I don't think I did. If I did, then we're pretty much just gonna get a refresher course on what happened here. July 5th, Guyana, South America. New Pokemon was discovered deep in the jungle. Also, I think there's an item around here. Yep, there is. I thought so. calcium. That, I think, raises defense? No. I think that's actually what iron does. So I think calcium raises special. So let's see. The majority of Shocker's moves are special ones, so I'm gonna give that directly to him, because he's gonna be needing it more than anyone else. Yeah, I'm starting to figure these stat changing items out now. Of course, now that we're probably about, I'd say probably around 85% done with the game now. You know, this actually lasted a lot shorter than I had expected it to, but we're not quite done yet, so I shouldn't be saying anything on that matter just quite yet, considering we still have a little ways to go into the game. Oh, I forgot I have to flip the switch. And also, because there's also still a bunch of Pokemon left to catch to complete the Pokédex, of course. I think I've pretty much already caught everything that you can catch in this building. Yeah, I've already found Coughing, Wheezing, Grimer, Muck, Growlithe, and Ponyta. So yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta show you the Pokédex entries for those two as well. Since I keep on stumbling on my words lately. Since I haven't really shown those two entries in the Pokédex on screen, considering I caught them both off screen. And Muck is actually unlisted in the official strategy guide for this area. It appears somewhat rarely, actually, in this place. Muck, the sludge Pokemon. Thickly covered with a filthy, vile sludge, it is so toxic, even its footprints contain poison. Okay, and let's see. Where is... oh, there's Wheezing. Wheezing, the poison gas Pokemon, where two kinds of poison gases meet, two Coughings confuse into a Wheezing over many years. And that's basically all that we need to do to catch up on the Pokédex entry. And of course, Growlithe. These were a pain to battle in leveling up, but hopefully with Thunder Punch and that calcium boost, yep, it definitely helps. That and the huge level up difference. And where's the switch? Must be down here. Oh wait, actually no, now I remember, it was the other way. This way is basically a dead end. I'm gonna just take out this Growlithe and go backwards. Thunder Punch is proving to be a very useful move right now. At the very least, it's capable of defeating everything so far in one hit. And, well, Shocker does need all the experience he can get before we get to this upcoming gym. And where was that statue? Here we go. Secret switch, press it. Oh, wouldn't. Okay, so let's see. That way is blocked off now, but this way is now open. And yeah, there was that journal. So now to check out what that journal says right after I use Psychic on this Grimer, who is very common, at least I think it is. Oh, actually no, in this version it's very rare, actually. July 10th, we christened the newly discovered Pokemon Mew. Interesting. So apparently, whoever worked here were the ones who originally discovered Mew. I wonder what happened here to have caused all this damage. I mean, you can see all the wreckage everywhere. What with all the boulders and broken rocks and stuff. I think there's even probably a couple of holes in the building. And nice, another level up, and oh hello. This place is like huge. There's only two types of trainers here, and those are burglars and scientists. Burglars tend to have fire types, like the Ninetales, for example. And also members of the Charmander family, as you could see from the previous burglar. And the scientists, well, there's not much to expect from those. And let's go back to Thunderbolt, since that, I think, does a bit more damage. It's just a good idea to have two moves of the same type, but not any more than that. Let's see. February 6th. Mew gave birth. We named the newborn Mewtwo. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, there's a max revive in this pile of rubble. And next to this pile of rubble is a max potion. And that's about it for that area. Time to flip the switch again so I can go back upstairs. Which, we were just there a moment ago anyway. Although I think that the other door... Let's see. Oh wait, actually, before I push that switch... Oh hey, that's a Weezing! And, yeah, they can go up to level 40. And apparently so can Tentacles on the sea roots. That was a very big surprise when I first found that out. Because at first I thought that it only went up to around level 30, but then... Boom! Level 40 Tentacool! That was a huge surprise to me. And over here is another item. An item, or an iron. That raises a Pokemon's defense, I believe. Let's see, who needs it the most? Let's see. Oops. Of course, I keep doing that. Okay, it seems like Bruce Lee needs it the most, so I'll just give that iron to him. Because I know that protein boosts attack, Carbos... Wait, what is this? Oh, okay, yeah. Carbos boosts speed, Calcium raises special, so that leaves iron for defense. Yeah, and it kind of makes sense considering iron itself is a very strong metal, so it had some very good defensive qualities to it, which makes sense in a way. And let's see, there's still quite a few encounters within 2 steps of the previous one, of course. But at the very least, it's a very strong Weezing, so that's nothing to sneeze at. At least I don't think it is. Unless it decides to use Smokescreen, then that would probably cause you to sneeze for sure, and oh crud. It uses Smog. Let's finish this Body Slam and heal up that poisoning before it takes its toll. Yeah, I used quite a few antidotes while I was training off-screen. I mean, seriously, I had like 14 antidotes, and now I have only like 4 left. Oh boy. Plus it took quite a while to gain as many levels as I did in the amount of time that well, just to gain the amount of levels that I gained. Oh, and there's Smokescreen. Whoa, that kinda looked weird. Okay, let's hit him with Body Slam, despite having gotten an accuracy lowering. Jeez, the encounters are really anxious here. Or the wild Pokemon are very anxious for battles today. I mean, this is probably the most I've ever seen in this building ever. Oh well, more free experience for me then. My mentor once lived here. And here's the first of the probably 3 or 4 scientists that are here, but really, there's not too many, and oh crud. Electric versus electric. Oh well, at the very least, Body Slam is a good alternative to my electric attacks. And, alright, another level up. I know that Shocker can learn, I think, Thunder, or at least something else along the way. Let's switch out to Razor Tooth, so then we can see his new moves. Which, I don't think we've even seen half of what his new moves look like in-game yet. Or, on screen, is what I mean. Like, Hyper Beam. But first off, I want to use Bite, just to weaken it a bit. Sonic Boom. That, I think, ignores all type differences. So, since Razor Tooth is part rock, it normally wouldn't do that much damage, but it ignores the rock typing. The same goes for if it's used on a ghost type, I think. So let's go with Hyper Beam! That, in my opinion, is the best animation and sound effect for Hyper Beam ever. Well, it's just one of the more memorable versions of it. And also, normally, at least in this game, normally you'd have to wait a turn before using another Hyper Beam, because you'd have to recharge. But if you knock out your opponent on the same turn that you used Hyper Beam, then it just completely ignores the recharge. Whoa, it looks like an electrode during that flip. See? Didn't even have to recharge. And that was a well-timed level up. Plus, Hyper Beam is a very powerful move anyway, so it's no surprise that it does a lot of damage. Whew, overwhelming! No kidding, that's the power of Hyper Beam for you. So you're stuck? Try jumping off over there. Oh, so you want me to jump off out of the window of a 3-story building? Jeez, talk about considerate. And this area is a dead end. I did not mean to do that, and yeah, you can see just how the difference between when I last left off and when I picked back up. So yeah. Let's, I think the path to the right is no, not to the right, to the left is the correct path. Considering, well, I just have a good feeling about it. Yep, I believe if you went through the other way, you would probably have landed up there, which doesn't really make sense, considering you should probably just land on top of that rock, maybe, on top of that rubble. But, whatever, it works that way, so I'm not going to question it. Probably because otherwise then the game might crash due to being on a block that you're not supposed to be on, or an object that you're not supposed to be on. Because normally when you walk into those, it just plays that thud sound. So, let's see, what does this scientist have to say? Who are you? There shouldn't be anyone here. Oh, of course, it's this guy. You know, that guy pretty much makes a semi-valid point, but it's kind of contradictory to itself, considering he's saying that no one should be there, which is actually very true, since it's a burned-down building. Why would anyone in their right mind want to go into a burned-down house or laboratory in the first place, especially considering it could collapse at any moment? But it also doesn't make sense considering if no one should be there, and why is he there to begin with, huh? Kinda counterintuitive there when you think about it, but I'm probably just reading into this too much. And that was a fairly easy battle. A key? I don't know what you're talking about. And let's see, this item... Oh, hey, Carbos! Who needs a speed boost? Definitely not Shocker, he's pretty fast on his own. Same for Razortooth. Let's see. Force is doing pretty good as far as speed goes. So is Stinger. Wow, is the entirety of my team fast? Inferno could use a little bit more speed. Okay, yeah, that pretty much just clinches it. Inferno wins the Carbos! Yep, and that's that for that Carbos. Let's see. Okay, the path straight up leads to the exit to the building, or at least one of two exits, considering there's two doors that lead out the same front door. This path is the area that was blocked off when we switch the flips, or flip the switch, and then the door locks on that side, preventing me from even getting further on in. But it also unlocks the door that leads out, which I'll be showing right after I get past this Ponyta. See that door? You could get there from the other side, but the door would block you. And when it's unblocked, I believe this door and the area that I just passed through would be closed off. Meaning that you would not be able to pass through there and exit the building. It is kind of weird how that path down there leads out the front door as well as the actual front door. It's basically just the same exit, only in a different area, and it makes no sense as far as practicality goes. September 1st. Mewtwo is far too powerful. We have failed to curb its vicious tendencies. I'm starting to think that this Mewtwo might have been the cause of the accident that happened here. Uh-oh, where am I now? You're in the basement, and so am I. But then again, you know, it's kind of funny that the burglars here are the only trainers in the entire game, aside from gym leaders and Giovanni, whom require you to talk to them in order to battle, because they don't have that little exclamation mark pop up in front there above them like all the other trainers do. You actually have to walk up and speak to them, because even if you walk in front of their faces, they won't challenge you to a battle. That's pretty much the only... This is the only time in the game that you actually battle these guys, and the only instance where that happens. You can find stuff lying around. Yes, I know, because there's an item right next to you. And have to push that switch. Oh, TM14, what does that contain? I'm curious. Let's see. Blizzard! No, that's actually a very good move, especially in this game. It's not quite as good in later games, because its accuracy gets lowered tremendously later on in the series, but in this one, it has really good accuracy. And a full restore, that's that. And this is basically the final floor of this building. So yeah, we're almost done with this place, and then I suppose in the next video we might be getting to the gym, the 7th one, and basically probably get through that as well. Unless I can somehow speed montage this room, but I kinda doubt it, because I only have like 5 minutes left into this video, but it doesn't matter. It's just another 5 minutes of me talking like usual in this set of 30 minutes. And let's see, just going up to make sure that I didn't miss anything, because this is a very big space. A big space in this room, anyway. Oh boy, wow, Shockers almost have moves, considering I'm mostly just using Thunderbolt and Thunder Punch. I've already exhausted my reserves on Psychic. And that's not quite that good, actually, to have used up Psychic before even reaching the bottom floor. I mean, seriously, 0 Psychics, and I'm down to 2 Thunderbolts after this one's done. Oh well, at the very least then, Razortooth will be getting a chance to shine. This place is ideal for a lab. You know, with him being a scientist, that statement is very stupid. Because couldn't you see that this was a lab, and it's even talked about by most of the people on the island for being a lab, having been burned down through a mysterious accident that we've pretty much been finding out about through those 4 journal entries. Or diary entries, I don't know. Oh crud! Whoa! Nice job, Shocker! You really stuck it out there. To withstand a self-destruct like that? What was that for? You don't blame me, I'm not the one who used self-destruct. I like it here. It's conducive to my studies. Okay, so you went from being ticked off to overly joyful in the blink of an eye. That's actually probably the best reaction you could get from a person in this game. At least as far as I know, because you can find so many weird things happening here. I wanted to press this switch, because otherwise I won't be able to get the main item of this building, and apparently I will be able to get through the rest of this place. Oh hey, a rare candy. I think that makes 8 of them now. Oh, here's the main item. Okay, I was wrong. That was not the main item. The main item is further down, apparently. Let's see, what is this? Solar Beam! Okay, that's actually a move that I need. Let me just check something real quick. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm gonna use this on Forest, actually, because he can learn it naturally, but it's not for another 15 levels, and I don't want to wait that long to get it, so I'm going to get rid of a move, and I think I have a good idea on which move I want to get rid of. Yeah, I want to get rid of Poison Powder because I have no further plans for it. So that takes care of Poison Powder, and say hello to Solar Beam! Which I don't think we've actually seen in this LP yet. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Okay, one last Ponyta for this video, and then hopefully I can pick up that item. This place has gone on for way too long. Okay, that's the secret key. That's what we need to unlock the Cinnabar Island Gym's front doors. So I will see you guys in the next episode of Let's Play Pokémon Green, where we hopefully will be able to clear out the gym in one fell swoop like usual. So until then, I'll see you next time. That was a shocking predicament.